The FBI is the most sophisticated law enforcement agency in the world, pursuing the most dangerous criminals. When a family disappears on the coast of Oregon,
you're just in a panic of, oh my God, there's no way this could have happened to us. There's just no way.
the Bureau mobilizes.
We had nothing. We knocked on every door in that city, asking people and showing the photographs.
We had no history on these people. We didn't know who they were. They had no ties to this community.
I could not comprehend the violence and the horror.
FBI. Criminal Pursuit. It's a chilly morning in the small coastal town of Waldport, Oregon. A man is walking by himself along the beach when he sees something suspicious floating in the water. He calls 911 and reaches the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, 18 miles up the coast in Newport. Detectives Dennis Bosky and Trish Miller are the first on the scene.
I responded down to the Waldport area, and it was down at the Alsea Bay. And I met Detective Miller there.
The detectives are stunned to find the body of a young boy, clothed in just his underwear.
We weren't quite sure of his age because he was kind of small. We thought he was 3 or 4. But he was perfectly groomed. Even his nails and toenails were groomed, a well-kept child.
The police have no reason to believe there's foul play involved.
You couldn't see like that he had been hurt in any way. The cause of death was not apparent. We were assuming it was drowning.
We were thinking that within an hour or two, maybe some frantic parent would come down to us and say that their child is missing.
But no parents show up, and no one reports a missing child.
It was a mystery. We started to think that maybe we had something more than a child that had accidentally drowned.
The unexplained death is enough to activate the local major crime team, which includes investigators from local, state, and federal agencies. That also includes the experts at solving difficult murders, the FBI.
We're very sensitive to the missing children. I contacted the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office to offer our assistance.
Special Agent Mike Holman is a 17-year veteran of the Bureau. Experience tells him the child's death could have been an accident or something worse.
We had potentially a child abduction, and as the FBI does, we get involved in these cases from the beginning until the end.
Agent Holman and the team mobilize to identify the little boy. Without a name, they have little hope of understanding how or why he died.
We had nothing. We set up a command post and we began to investigate the case.
We knocked on every door in that community to find out if anybody had family there with a male child in that age range.
Asking people and showing the photographs, what do you know about this? Did you see anything? Was there anything unusual that occurred on the past evening?
Investigators hypothesize about every possible scenario, including that the child was part of a freak car accident.
We had the Coast Guard fly up the Aquina Bay and the Forest Service roads to see if there had been a car accident where a car had driven off the road and a car had rolled into the water. We didn't know if we had a family that was dead or drowned in one of the waterways.
But their efforts lead nowhere. Police take the story public in hopes that someone will call in with a tip.
What we did is we released a photo to the media. We put it in the newspaper.
The photograph quickly makes the local TV news. Denise Thompson is at her parents' house when the report comes up.
Hey, Mom, come look at this.
There was a drawing of a boy on the TV. I was kind of shocked because it looked just like Zachary.
I know that boy.
Denise recognizes the child as a boy she babysits. His name is Zachary Longo, and Denise took care of the 4-year-old and his 2 younger siblings just days before.
I think I need to call.
Our neighbor at the time was the local sheriff. So I called him up and I said, you know, that case that's going on now, that little boy that was found in the bay, I think I know who that is.
Denise tells investigators that she works with Zachary's father, Christian Longo, at a local coffee shop. She also tells investigators that Christian and his family, wife Mary Jane, and children Zachary, Sadie, and Madison, have only lived in Newport for around 6 weeks. Police rush to the Longo family's condo, a posh apartment on Newport's coastline.
We went to the landing where they were living, and there was nobody home.
The house looks as though the family might return any moment.
As I recall, it was really clean. It didn't look like anybody had left rapidly. There was no signs of any kind of a disturbance. Essentially, we were looking for anything to identify their location or their whereabouts.
Investigators are desperate to notify the family of Zachary's death. But there's one major problem. No one knows them.
How you find people is you talk to their closest friends and relatives. We soon found out that they didn't really have any in Lincoln County. They hadn't been here that long.
The FBI begins a nationwide search for anyone who knows more about the Young family.
I set out and tasked our offices around the country to immediately contact friends and relatives, find out where they are, do they have cell phones, or is anybody in contact with them?
With the Longo family missing, Denise Thompson is the only person who can identify Zachary's body. Investigators ask her to come in early the next day. In the meantime, they send a police dive team into the water where Zachary was found, searching for clues about his death. They have no idea what they are about to discover.
What you got? So the dive team went down looking for information about Zachary Longo, and I'm sure they were surprised when they found the body.
Divers find a sleeping bag in the water with another child's body in it.
It's a body. It's a body. It's a little.
This one, a toddler girl, is also clothed only in her underwear.
There was a pillowcase around her ankle with a rock in the pillowcase, and she was weighted down. And that's when we knew definitely that it was a homicide.
Investigators suspect the girl is Zachary Longo's younger sister, 3-year-old Sadie.
Surely we felt it was a sibling because they looked similar, and they were a few years apart.
The dive team keeps searching and finds a second sleeping bag and pillowcase, also filled with rocks. The items provide terrible clues about how Zachary likely died.
Once we discovered the second pillowcase, we were assuming that Zachary had been weighted down with a rock and drowned in the same manner.
The gruesome homicides overwhelm the seasoned investigators.
It was just, it was a horrific thing for me that I never want to see again.
In all my years as an investigator, I've had the ability to detach myself from what I'm doing. It was the first time I broke down and started crying.
It's clear the Longo children were murdered. But why? And by whom?
Who would kill children? Who would do that? And nobody knew them, which, made it even deeper of a mystery.
Investigators don't know if they're looking for a relative or a depraved predator. But the rest of the Longo family is still missing. And with a child killer on the loose, the clock is ticking. Are Zachary and Sadie the only victims, or just the beginning?
At that point, we have no idea. Are there more bodies out there? We have no idea.
Newport, Oregon. It's been 3 days since the bodies of 2 children, Zachary and Sadie Longo, were found murdered and dumped into the ocean.
These 2 children had been discarded like everyday trash in the slough in Walport and weighted down so that they would not be found. Someone had done it with purpose.
The FBI and local sheriffs don't know whether the children were killed by someone they knew or if a predator is on the loose in the town of Newport.
My husband, as big as he is, we slept with the shotgun near the bed. A fear of the unknown, If they're just murdering unknown people, I could be next.
And no one has been able to locate the rest of the Longo family, including youngest child Madison and parents Christian and Mary Jane.
Okay, we have 2 children dead. Where's the rest of the family? Are they victims also?
With few clues to go on, the crime team must rely on the public to help generate leads.
The information started coming in. Many, many people came forward that might have witnessed something. We had to follow every lead that we had.
A tip line caller reports a mysterious car lurking around a park where children played. Investigators look, but cannot find the vehicle.
This is a small community where strange cars, strange people, they get reported.
Another caller says that the night before Zachary was found, he stopped to help a man with car trouble on the bridge near where the child floated to the surface.
A driver who is crossing the bridge sees his parking lights on, thinks that he's having car trouble.
Everything all right, man?
And he says some sort of light came on in his car and he was like waiting it out.
You don't need any help? Everything's all right. All right, as long as
The man with car trouble waved off help. The caller thought it was strange, but hadn't noted the vehicle model or license plate number. He can only give police a vague description of the man. Stumped, police turn back to the man who found Zachary's body.
Whoever finds the body first is someone of interest to us. People try to inject themselves in investigations all the time that turn out to be the suspect.
They bring him in for more intense questioning and learn that he has a history of violence against children.
I had nothing to do with it.
The man claims to have been at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting the night before Zachary was found. Police check the building the meeting was held in and spray luminol in the restroom. It reveals something alarming.
And when we went to the building, in the bathroom we found blood on the walls. We were suspicious. We think that he's taken this child and he's killed him in the bathroom.
Blood samples are collected and taken to the lab for processing. Until they have more evidence, police can't arrest their suspect. They appear to be making progress with the case, but they still have no idea where the remaining members of the Longo family are. The FBI begins an extensive background search on the parents.
Every person in this world creates a track record once they become an adult. Everything from the Hollywood video card to the car rental to the plane tickets. And so we set about going after those things in order to find out who had heard from them last. Where are they now?
Agents learned that the mother, Mary Jane Baker, was born in 1967, one of 6 children in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Her parents divorced in the 1970s. According to Mary Jane's brother, Mark Baker, their mother raised all of the children as Jehovah's Witnesses.
My mom got into the truth when I was about 7 years old or so. So Mary Jane was probably about 4. So that was pretty much her life. So we were raised pretty strict.
Mary Jane met Christian Longo when she was in her mid-20s and working as a secretary. Though he was only 17, the two had a lot in common, including divorced parents and their faith.
He was like anybody else, normal looking, actually better looking than some. He had very good manners. He didn't run around and party and things like that.
Christian was Mary Jane's first love.
I don't think she ever dated anybody or went out with anybody until she met him.
In the spring of 1993, Christian and Mary Jane married.
The only goal in life she had was to be a mom and a wife. And she worshiped the ground that Chris walked on.
They quickly became pregnant and had Zachary in February 1997. Sadie and Madison followed soon after.
She seemed real good with the kids. She always had them. They were never screaming or crying or anything like that, and they always seemed to be happy, and they were dressed nice.
Christian started a company cleaning construction sites, and the business took off. He worked hard to support his family, while Mary Jane stayed home with the babies.
You know, you've got this perfect little family, this little clean-cut family where you've got 3 cute kids, and Mary Jane's this great mother, and she keeps them clean and tidy.
The Longos seemed to be living their dream, until Christian's business fell apart. Several of his clients fell behind on payments, and Christian couldn't make payroll. Embarrassed by his failure and in debt, Christian moved the family west in September 2001.
He had to be the sole provider, and maybe that was too much pressure for him.
So he takes the family, you know, we will make a fresh start, we'll go somewhere else. They hit the road.
They landed in Newport, Oregon, where Christian found the family an apartment on the ocean and got a job working at a coffee shop to make ends meet.
Okay, so his idea of a romantic gift is to buy me a vacuum cleaner, because it'll help me out around
There,
the house.
he met Denise Thompson. They instantly became friends.
He's a lot of fun to work with. Smiling, happy guy, young family man. Had 3 little kids, you know, nice family. And it was great. I had a new friend at work.
Denise felt bad that the Longos didn't know anyone and wanted to help out.
I knew they didn't have any family in Oregon, and I knew it was rough. Because, you know, we're all such a tight-knit community down there, and I wanted them to feel welcome.
All right, now you be a good little boy.
Thank you.
No problem. They'll be fine. You guys enjoy yourselves. Have a good time. All right.
She offered to babysit for the young couple so they could go out on a date.
You know, let's be friends. I'll watch your kids, and you can watch mine sometime, you know, that'd be fun. And he thought that was a great idea, so him and Mary Jane went out to go watch a movie and have dinner. And the 2 oldest, Zachary and Sadie, they extremely friendly little guys. You know, they just they were the easiest kids to watch. Not a thing wrong with them. They were well taken care of, great kids.
Denise can't imagine why anyone would hurt these precious children.
I had, you know, fallen in love with this little family that I wanted to be friends with so badly.
Agents can't imagine it either, but they're beginning to ask some hard questions, including whether the Longos were in deeper trouble than anyone realized.
They could have been on the run from someone, a creditor, or someone angry. There's a lot of scenarios there.
Who would have coldly murdered 2 innocent children? And are they holding the rest of the Longo family hostage, or worse?
Are there more bodies out there?
We don't know what the scenario is. We don't know if someone had killed the whole family.
For 8 days, Christian and Mary Jane Longo and their youngest child, Madison, have been missing from Newport, Oregon. The other Longo children, Zachary and Sadie, were found murdered near a local bridge.
Our biggest thought was, we need to find Mary Jane and Madison. I don't think we thought of her being alive or dead. We just wanted to find her. She was missing.
Agents are desperate to identify the killer, but have only one person of interest: the man who found Zachary's body. He has a history of crime against children, and blood was found in the bathroom he was near the night Zachary was found.
I had nothing to do with it.
He seems a likely suspect, until investigators give him a lie detector test, which he passes.
I was one of the investigators that interviewed him. He was giving me statements during my interview that were totally against his self-interest. I knew he was telling the truth.
The crime lab also determines that the blood found in the bathroom did not come from Zachary. Instead, it came from the many people who attended AA meetings and went in the bathroom to get high.
We later found out that that was very common for blood to be in bathrooms, that people inject drugs in those bathrooms.
The search for the killer is back at square one. Agents intensify their search for the Longos, painstakingly retracing their every step.
I had our FBI analysts here in Oregon doing every bit of background that we could find on them.
There is little to go on, until a report comes in from a hotel where the Longos stayed during their first days in Newport.
A housekeeper had found the family album containing fingerprints and footprints and birth certificates.
Among the belongings is Mary Jane's driver's license. The discovery seems darkly ominous to the crime team.
There was photo albums and children's belongings. I think we all felt that a mom is not going to throw photo albums away of her children. She's not going to throw her ID away. Mary Jane's just not going to do that.
Filled with dread, authorities send more divers into the water. This time, near the Longo's condominium. Their worst fears are confirmed.
They dove underneath the docks and they found 2 suitcases. And what startled the divers were there was hair coming out of the zipper of one of the suitcases.
I asked the divers to bring the suitcases to the dock area. And that's where we located Mary Jane in one suitcase and Madison in the other. Again, I broke down. I cried.
Both mother and child have been strangled and folded inside suitcases. Mary Jane has been stripped of all her clothes. Police are shocked at the brutality.
And just her being a modest, religious person, I feel that was so egregious to naked stuff her into a suitcase, where when she's found, someone's gonna see her naked. To me, that bothered me more than anything.
Mary Jane's family is crushed.
It just breaks your heart, and you'll never, ever get over it. But no matter how you try to think about it or justify what's going on, there is no justification.
There's one question on everyone's mind. Where is Christian Longo? Will police soon find his body floating on the Oregon coast? Or could this seemingly loving father have murdered his entire family and fled the state? Police once again question Denise Thompson, whom they now suspect is the last person to see the Longo family alive. Denise reveals a detail that didn't seem significant before, but could now be important.
You too. Have a good night.
She remembers that the night she babysat the Longo children, just days before Zachary died, Christian Longo seemed distraught when they returned from their date.
It was kind of late, it was like 11. And Christian's eyes were red, like he'd been crying.
A few days later at work, Christian stunned Denise with some unexpected news.
What's going on, Chris?
He had walked up to me and said, Denise, I have something to tell you. I wanted you to hear it from me. My wife is leaving me. She took the kids and left.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
That was the last time Denise saw Christian. When she went in to pick up her paycheck a few days later, he wasn't there.
And I knew he was scheduled to work that day, so I went in to say hi to him. His manager said that he didn't show up for work that day. I was instantly concerned for his well-being because his wife and kids had just left him. You know, what if he had done the worst and offed himself?
Agents are stunned by this new revelation. Did Christian kill his wife and children in a fit of rage, then commit suicide? Christian's friends and co-workers are outraged at the suggestion. They know Christian and swear he's no murderer.
My fellow employees were angry, just so angry, you know. Who would finger, Christian? Who would think he would do such a thing?
The FBI and Newport, Oregon police are desperately trying to find Christian Longo, the only member of his family of 5 that hasn't been found dead in the Pacific Ocean. No one has seen or heard from Christian for more than a week, and his friends are worried about his safety.
My husband and I drove by the landing to see if the Durango was there. It wasn't in the garage underneath. It wasn't out in the parking lot. So I thought, well, he could be anywhere now, but all I can do is be concerned for his well-being.
But agents fear that's not the reason behind his disappearance.
You're only limited by your own imagination in that scenario. I mean, maybe the father killed the wife, killed the kids, and then killed himself.
And their suspicions grow when they dig deeper into Christian's past and discover he has a long history of deceiving people.
He'd had a normal upbringing, his parents told us. He had some personality disorders. Even though they were religious people, he lied a lot, and he even defrauded his own parents out of a lot of money. So it was a pattern of deception his whole life.
He was a liar and a thief and manipulator, and he was very charming.
They discover that when Christian's construction business in Michigan was struggling, he began writing checks to himself in the company name to keep up appearances.
They were driving brand new cars and were living the high life, and I couldn't understand that because me and my wife both work full time, and actually I almost worked 2 jobs, and it was hard for us to even have 1 new car. Some things just didn't add up.
He wrote bounced checks to employees, he forged checks, he was in trouble. He wanted people to think he was a big man, and he couldn't afford it. And they were deeply in debt.
Before long, his behavior caught up with him.
Hi, how are you today?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
While cashing a check at a bank.
May I see your ID, please?
Sure.
He realized the teller was eyeing him suspiciously.
Excuse me.
He fled, leaving behind his ID. Police arrested him for writing bad checks, and his secret was out. Christian was given probation, but was scorned by the family's Jehovah's Witness church.
Can't have any type of this behavior in our religion, in our church.
Mary Jane was forced to share his shame.
It affects her because she can't hang around with the same people. They kind of shun you like you're a bad person.
Yeah, this is a beautiful machine.
Christian moved the family to a rundown warehouse in Ohio that he planned to make over into an apartment. He continued to cheat to pay the bills.
Come on, man, $5 grand.
Christian then stole several large pieces of construction equipment and tried to resell them.
All right, man, we got a deal.
The prospective buyer suspected something was wrong and reported him to police.
And he was sitting on $20,000 worth of stolen property. The detective, as I recall, went back to the office to get some information, and they discovered that there was warrants for him, and then they went back within 2 hours and they were gone.
Sensing he was about to get busted, Christian's flight instinct had kicked in. Without even giving his family time to pack, he ripped them further away from their community, heading west, leaving behind everything they knew.
There was many items, family items, that were still there. A lot of Mary Jane's clothes. I believe her wedding dress was even there. Mary Jane's Bible was there.
All of their photo albums. Her graduation diploma. I mean, you just wouldn't leave that stuff behind. Not all of your photo albums. It's cherished possessions, you know.
Mary Jane lost contact with her family and virtually disappeared.
He takes her away from everything she knows, and she has to depend on Chris for everything. She's really trapped there. It's almost like a domestic violence victim.
Concerned, Mary Jane's family contacted authorities.
As soon as they became missing in Ohio, we filed missing persons reports with the Toledo police on Mary Jane and the kids because we knew something was wrong.
The police canceled the report after the family received a postcard from Mary Jane mailed from South Dakota.
And the postcard said, "We're okay, Chris is looking for work. I'll call when we're settled."
Investigators now know Christian Longo isn't the man they thought he was. But they don't know if he's dead or if he's on the run again. That all changes when they get a stunning call from his old employer. Christian appears to be alive and well and has in fact just applied for a job.
He applied for a job at a Starbucks in San Francisco. What he did was he used the manager's name on his application and several of his friends from Lincoln County.
Investigators now strongly suspect that Christian Longo is the killer they're looking for.
We all knew who we were chasing at that point.
Agents can't believe he would reveal his whereabouts so carelessly. Immediately, they spring into action.
I then contacted our San Francisco office and sent agents to stake out the Starbucks, hoping he was going to come back.
The FBI sets up a sting operation, hoping Christian will return to the store. But he never shows. Christian Longo is on the run and moving too quickly to cover his tracks. He uses a stolen credit card number to make purchases.
We were shocked. He was very careless. We had tracked the credit card number, and he had purchased a plane ticket from San Francisco to Texas, and then from Texas to Cancun, Mexico.
Christian is headed south of the border. He has no idea that Special Agent Dan Clegg is stationed in Mexico, specifically for fugitives like him.
At that time, during 2000, 2001, 2002, passports weren't required for Americans to travel into Mexico. There was a high volume of fugitives who would run to Mexico, run and hide.
Agents put Christian Longo on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. They plaster Cancun and surrounding areas with the flyers, praying someone will recognize Longo and call in a tip.
We had no leads other than the fact that he had gotten off a plane in Cancun.
January 14th, 2002. Suspected murderer Christian Longo has fled to Cancun, Mexico, after the bodies of his wife and 3 children were found in Newport, Oregon. The FBI puts him on its 10 most wanted list and covers Cancun with flyers.
If you're an American, a lot of times you want to have connectivity back to the United States, so we knew internet cafes would be a logical place, public transportation, taxi stands, bus depots. And sure enough, within about 48 hours, we had a sighting.
A tour guide reports that he gave a man fitting Christian's description a tour just a few days earlier and dropped him off at a campground 50 miles from Cancun. Agents quietly surround the campground. They stake out a cabana and find Christian Longo enjoying his freedom under an assumed name.
He did not appear to be grieving. In fact, he was in a sexual relationship with the girl who he had met, a German girl who was a freelance photographer, and he started using the cover story that he was a freelance journalist.
He's leading a double life and has no idea authorities are about to close in on him.
We approached the cabana, and the Mexican police walked in, grabbed him and pulled him out. I identified myself as FBI. He said his name was Michael, and I said, Christian Michael Longo, right? And I held up the flyer and showed it to him, and he acknowledged yes.
Christian is finally arrested without incident. FBI Special Agent Dan Clegg lays it on the line for Christian Longo. He can voluntarily agree to come back to the U.S., or he can fight extradition from a Mexican jail cell.
I looked at him and I said, you choose. It's your choice. He was terrified of the prospect of being trapped in Mexican jail.
Christian Longo agrees to return to the United States. With little hard evidence linking Longo to the crime, Special Agent Clegg needs a confession. He begins to question Longo the moment the plane leaves Mexican soil.
The purpose of my conversation with Longo was to get him to admit and tell the story, what happened to his wife and kids.
One of the kids was found in a suitcase.
But Longo won't admit to killing his family and veils his responses in religious overtones.
We had kind of a deep discussion about his beliefs, where people go after they die. And he explained to me that in his beliefs, they go to sleep. And I said, is that where your family is right now? He says, yes, they're in a state of sleep. And I asked him, you know, why? Why did you do that? And he said, I wanted them to be in a better place. That was as close as a confession or an admission that he came.
Christian appears to have a change of heart in February 2003, just 1 month before his capital murder trial. He surprises authorities by pleading guilty to murdering his wife, Mary Jane, and their youngest daughter, Madison. He refuses to tell the judge how or why he killed them, and maintains that he didn't kill Zachary and Sadie.
I don't know if it was an attempt to avoid the death penalty or if it was some legal ploy, but it was, you know, to us it was just white noise. It was just more bullshit.
The highly publicized trial begins on March 10th, 2003. Mary Jane's family isn't sure what to expect.
There was never a 100% feeling that he was going to get convicted. We were always worried that he might walk away, and not because of the evidence, but because Chris is such a good con artist.
When Christian takes the stand, he tells the jury that he came home to find Zachary and Sadie dead at the hands of Mary Jane.
He said that Mary Jane had come home in a rage and that she had killed Zachary and Sadie and that she put him somewhere in the water.
Longo claims he then strangled his wife out of anger. He says baby Madison was struggling for her last breath, so he finished the job.
He drugged Mary Jane through the mud and said she killed the 2 older kids. He couldn't just let her rest in peace. He had to drag her name through the mud again and say she was the one that murdered her 2 older children. Right there in front of the whole world.
A little over 2-hour flight, close to 3 hours.
He's arrogant, without a doubt. And he was going to convince that jury that they had it all wrong and the prosecution had it all wrong.
The jury doesn't buy Christian's story and convicts him on 4 counts of aggravated murder.
Mary Jane and the children got the justice they deserved, yes. Yeah. He didn't walk away. That was the relief.
1 week later, Christian is given the death penalty.
He stood up to make a comment to the court, and he said, I'll never forget the words, he said, "This is a wake-up call for me." And I felt that sums up the mentality of this man.
You know, he's just a liar and a conniver, just out for number one.
Christian later admits in a jailhouse interview that he deliberately killed his whole family because he was financially ruined and didn't want them to witness his failure. He tells the journalist that he had decided to kill Mary Jane just hours before the two of them made love. He realized it was the perfect opportunity and strangled her.
He kills Mary Jane, he puts her in a suitcase. He kills Madison, he puts her in a suitcase. Her suitcase had clothing and a diving weight in it. He takes those suitcases and he takes them down to the docks. He puts them in the water. He goes back up to his condo. He takes those children and he puts them in the car and he drives them to Walport. He gets to the Lentsley Bridge and he stops his van on the side of the bridge. After he throws the children off, he is contacted by a Good Samaritan thinking that he is having car trouble.
Everything all right, man?
Moments after drowning his children, Christian once again cons his way out of trouble.
Yeah, thanks.
Chris says some sort of light came on in his car and he was like waiting it out. And then he heads eastbound, comes back home and goes to a Christmas party.
Christian Longo now awaits execution on death row. In early 2011, he attempted to become an organ donor, claiming it would be penance for his hateful acts.
He's saying that he's willing to waive his appeals, accept the death penalty on the condition that he can donate his organs to science.
Now he's still trying to be in the limelight and still trying to justify it, and there isn't. And he shouldn't even be able to talk to the public. He shouldn't be able to go on the internet. He shouldn't, nothing. He shouldn't even be around anymore.
Oregon officials denied Christian Longo's request.